We are the most fortunate people who've ever roamed planet Earth. It's because of where we live. It's because of the times that we live in. We have a very rich history. We have a very exciting legacy. And we are American citizens. When you think of how we got here today, Columbus got across the Atlantic, established the eastern seaboard. We left there and came across the Appalachians, eventually across the Mississippi. Every step along the way, we've had the right type of technology at the right time to provide all of our transportation and our communication needs. When Columbus came across, we finally had ships that were large enough to haul horses. And these horses have become the mainstay of who we are and where we are and what we are today. Specifically, I'm talking about the Mustangs. The Mustangs, a little bit smaller than their Arabian Muslim counterparts. Very rugged horse, not susceptible to a lot of disease. Could feed on anything. They brought us across the country. They supported our military. Excellent horse for our cavalry. They also were the horse of choice for our Pony Express that linked coast-to-coast communication for us. These horses were initially introduced, we think, by the Spaniards in a number of occasions. Well, then we ran the Spaniards off and they left the horses behind. They became known as the wild Mustangs, legendary Mustangs. Right now, as we speak, there's about 15,000 of these horses that are still running wild. Nevada, Utah, Arizona. But there's about 50,000 of them that our wonderful federal government has rounded up and has put in pens. They separate the colts from the mothers, they gild the males, and they await a nasty fate. You may recall about 12 or 15 years ago, again, our wonderful federal government passed legislation that said you cannot slaughter or butcher or kill horses. So I suppose we all reveled in that we were saving the horses. Not true. Another headliner that you may recall in the last 2 years, cattlemen were rebelling because they did not want to pay grazing fees to the Bureau of Land Management. These grazing lands, administered by our wonderful federal government, is also where the wild Mustangs graze. And our cattlemen were complaining that the horses were eating too much of the feed that belonged to their cattle, for which they did not want to pay a fee. So our wonderful federal government started rounding up these Mustangs. And like I said, right now they have about 50,000 of them pinned up. What happens to these 50,000 Mustangs? The wonderful federal government puts them up for auction. You're free to come out and bid on these horses. If the horse does not become a winner of a successful bid after 3 auctions, then our wonderful federal government loads them all up in trucks, sends them to Mexico, and lets the Mexicans butcher them and slaughter them. How wonderful we are. We don't do that. I don't know what it takes to butcher and slaughter 50,000 horses, but I am sure that the Mexicans do not pay minimum wage and they have no child labor laws. So again, they export jobs. The herd, unfortunately, does need to be thinned out from time to time, because these Mustangs, if they're left to their own devices, the herd will double in size in about 5 years. But there is hope out there. These horses are part of our heritage. They would become extinct except the federal government is controlling this, and they're not going to call any of their product extinct. But there is a rescue effort going on to save these horses. A little known fact, right here in Madison County, up by Alhambra, we have a sanctuary for these horses. There's two wonderful people that are with us today that have made their task in life to go to these auctions. They only adopt three strikers. And if it looks like somebody else is interested in one of the horses, then they back off from that, let somebody else adopt it, and they go on down the line. So they rescue these horses, put them in a dilapidated horse trailer, and bring them back to Alhambra. And then they start a long process. You don't break these horses. You don't tame them. You make them gentle. You gentleize these horses. And try to get them back to the point where they trust human beings. They can work with them. Once they've done this, they put these horses up for adoption. You cannot buy one of these horses, but you can adopt one. Now I say you don't buy, I mean, okay, there's I think $150 administrative fee for the adoption paperwork, and then there's, depending on what needs to be done with the horse, maybe a $500–600 training fee to get it. And guess what? You don't get to pick your horse. You go out to where the horses are, and they allow the horse to pick you. And you better live up to their standards. Now, I've got a short video. Sean's going to get ready with the lights. I've got a short video that was filmed right out here in Alhambra. And the 5 horses and the 1 burro that you see in this video are out there today as we speak. And you can go out and see them. And if you have scout groups, study school groups, whatever, they welcome you to come out and take a look at these horses. The other thing I want to mention here we go. The other thing I want to mention, there are 3 things on this video that I want to speak about. There is a very quick before and after picture of Sir Kayla. Sir Kayla was in bad shape when she arrived, and you will see that before picture. This is the product that the federal government turns out and puts up for auction. And then right after that is what Sir Kayla looks like today. And it's because of the care and feeding and attention of the 2 people that are our guests today. The other thing I wanted to mention, there's another quick shot of a young girl with a Mustang with 2 ribbons. And I usually get choked up quite a bit when I see that. It was my good fortune to meet this young lady, her twin brother, and her mother just this last Sunday. And she has a Mustang. She has entered in competition. She has won ribbons with this thing, and she's also entering a scholarship competition with this horse. 8 months from the time that was at the chute for the Mexican truck The time it got those ribbons is all it took with Sean and Kathy's work with the horse and with the young girl. The other thing I want to mention, there's two quick shots. They've got a barnyard cat out there. In the first shot, it looks like the horse is eating the cat. No, that's not happening. You will see in the shot that follows that the cat and the horses are the best of friends. So this video is only about 3 minutes long, and then I'm going to open it up for Q&A and introduce Sean and Kathy. So here we go. That's Shorty Horse. Kayla federalized. There she is today. There's an opportunity, some of the literature that was put out. One thing the sanctuary need is a trailer. The wonderful federal government has determined that their trailer is no longer adequate for hauling the horses. We found a used one in Hamel for about 10 grand. A new trailer would cost about 75 to 80 grand. They found a used trailer that meets all of the requirements in Hamel for about 10 grand. And I think at last count we were, what, about $1,500 along the way. for that. Now I want to introduce two very special people, Sean and Kathy. Stand up, please. These are the two people that run the sanctuary. They rescue these horses and they bring them to their farm in Alhambra, just south of Alhambra. They welcome visitors. Go out Highway 140 till you cross, stop at the new Love's gas station and get your cappuccino. Then go on to Highway 4, turn south to Clinky. Is that the name? Clinky Road? Turn east again. It is the only Mustang sanctuary that's east of the Mississippi River.